And then last one here,
Big
my
one.
personal number one, Final Fantasy 16.
Gosh, so exciting.
PS5 exclusive. There's no PC version. There's no Xbox version. You're making towards one system, which this is best case scenario for Final Fantasy to just focus on one system because I want this game to be as good as it could possibly be,
Right.
So the easier, hey, the better. Cool. I mean, of course, technically, if we had a PC exclusive Final Fantasy
Oh my
17, I would take
God.
that. But yes. What do you think, Final Fantasy 16?
Where do I start? It looks so good. It looks so good. I love the way the combat looks. It looks like it's retaining some of that Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 7, kind of fast paced,
Yeah.
but loose combat that you can control. The summons, when they're going through all the summons and showing how they look, man, it got me so excited.
The music, you noticed at the end, whenever it was doing the summons, they were singing the
Yeah,
summon
I
names. Did
did.
you
Yeah,
catch that? Okay.
Ifrit. Yeah,
Yes.
I noticed that. Yeah, yeah, that was
I
cool.
was like, that's cool. That's a cool
Oh
touch.
man, I cannot wait. And then I was like, show me a release date, show me a release date. And then they said, what was it again?
Man, it's far.
Summer
This
2023 or
was
fall?
also the most bummed I was the whole show because I was like,
Yeah.
God, dude.
I was thinking it was gonna come out this
Summer.
year. Yeah.
Oof.
That's
It's
rough, but
a long ways away. We got a whole nother year to wait. I was
oh
thinking it
man.
really was coming end of this year, the way they were talking, but
Yeah.
whatever. Hey, make it as good as you want, but still, it hurts. It hurts. I don't know.
Oh
That's a
yeah.
long wait, dude.
Yeah, that's a blow, man. But
Lots of summons fighting each other in the trailer with huge numbers. Every time a summon hit another. First of all, what is happening here? It looks like a fighting game or something. It's like two summons
it's a
fighting,
lot.
right? With their own health bars, like sort of punching and kicking each other and shooting blasts at each other and stuff. And I'm like, wait, are you controlling one of the summons and fighting another summon? Or are we watching this battle just take place from afar? What's happening here
Right.
exactly? Whatever.
Right.
I don't know. Um,
I don't know, but I know I
you're
like it.
you're also apparently on an island. Who knows how big this island is? Japan is an island technically, and it's pretty big, so it
Right.
could still be a small country size, but you are on an island with a bunch of summons. That is sort of the lore here. Looks like your character can change the ways they do combat based on the summons under their control. And a character had 3 different forms to switch between in the trailer. So, like in the top left corner, you could see he was switching. He was in Odin mode, and then he switched to a different summon mode, and it changed the way he fought whenever he switched modes.
Right.
So it's almost like think previous Final Fantasies when you get a summon under your control and then now you can use summon moves. Well, in this scenario, it's like, oh, now I can fight a completely different style that this summon would be.
Right. Right. And also I wonder if they're gonna stop doing you can summon when you get hit
Right?
so many times. Like
That was
I,
dumb though. I didn't like that.
I didn't love that idea. Like I remember when Final Fantasy 15 first came out, I saw like Ramuh for the first time. I'm like, oh my god, this is
It was
crazy.
epic. It was awesome.
Super epic. And I was like,
Yeah.
damn, he's so powerful.
Yeah.
But then
as you play later in the game, you realize, oh wait, it just sort of happens.
Right. I didn't really like that.
I want to control it. I want to.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same. Yep. So hopefully they'll let us do that.
Summons, they're not called summons in this, because in some Final Fantasies they're called summon, like Final Fantasy 6. You know how they're called eons in Final Fantasy 6. What are they called in Final Fantasy 6?
Oh, Espers.
That's what
I remember now. Yep.
In this game they're called Eakins or Primals, which is specifically pulled from Final Fantasy 14's naming structure. Also, I'm very surprised because the last trailer we got looked a lot like Final Fantasy 14, a little too much to where like the graphics weren't that good, because that is like an MMO, like that is close to 10 years old at this point, I think 8 years old. So I was like, hey, it's running well. It looks pretty and all. Like the lighting effects were good, but I'm just talking about like the character models. They looked very like Final Fantasy 14, little outdated models. When I saw this trailer, it was no longer the case. They look like, oh wow, this is current gen graphics on all accounts.
Yep.
So I definitely noticed a jump there. Another weird thing. So we have yet to see party members in any gameplay. Looks like it may focus on just controlling one character, and it may be the first Final Fantasy game without the joining of different characters along the story to form a party you journey the game throughout with. What do you think about that? That's pretty major if this is true. But I mean, the way the UI even looks, it's almost like it's not even set up for other people to even join you.
Yeah, I can see them. Like, I feel like they've been pretty good over the years at reinventing themselves. So I can totally see, something like that being the case. Something way
Are
different.
you okay with this?
Yeah, I'm fine
Okay,
with it as
okay.
long as we still retain that all the things that make Final Fantasy great that we love. As long as we still have
I
those
mean,
things.
every Final Fantasy, you have a party that you're finding people joining your
Right.
party and all that. It's pretty major. Now,
That is. That is
I'm
amazing.
also okay with it. I'm just trying to play devil advocate here,
Sure.
but
Yep.
um, I'm very much just always going to be in this mind state of, hey, like they know what they're doing. I trust
Yeah.
them and everything. If they mess it up, I will then be angry after the fact. But I'm
Right.
not going to preemptively jump the gun.
I agree.
I
Yep.
need to see what they're trying to pull off. And maybe, they're secretly holding back on details that they don't even want us to know. And it may involve party stuff, but it may be too much of a sort of story thing to really get into at the moment. So
Yeah. I'm all for, like you said, I'm all for letting them, do what they think works. Look what they did with Final Fantasy VII. I was like the biggest non-believer in them doing
mhm.
the remake and the combat and everything,
They
and
pulled it off.
they proved me wrong. So
Yeah. The battle has stagger in it from Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy 7 remake.
yep.
With the yellow stagger
Sure.
bar, you hit
Yep.
them enough, and then now they're sort of like, ooh, they're all staggered, and you can do some extra damage.
Always nice when that
I
happens.
do like that. I've always liked when games have that. It rewards aggression. Like who doesn't like that? Like Doom Eternal, one of the best things is it rewards aggression. Bloodborne, one of the best things is it rewards aggression. I want a game to reward aggression if it's a high action combat game, which
Yeah.
is what this is, which
Oh yeah.
is really cool. And leading into the final point here, Capcom lead for the game in terms of the whole battle system is Capcom's combat lead in general, which he's done Devil May Cry 5, Dragon's Dogma, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, to name some. So we were saying that on a previous episode, but it's nice to know when you go to the website and see it, it shows right there. Oh, it is for sure this guy. It's not just some LinkedIn profile saying that and everything, which I don't know why that would be false. I'm saying that because I loved Devil May Cry 5's combat. Clearly the
Can't wait to
best
get
thing
to
about
that
the
game.
game. I love it, and the fact that this guy's doing it, and you watch it and you can tell.
I can't wait to get to it, man. So
The
yeah,
music
I'm happy.
composer is from Final Fantasy 14 plus all the
14, right?
expansions. He is phenomenal. I mean, one of the best things about playing that game is when you get in a dungeon at the end, big boss, and the music is just so epic, dude. They nail it on. He's really good with riding the highs and lows into what's happening on screen.
Right.
Which you can clearly tell even when you watch this trailer.
The way that they do the music and the
Yeah.
like crescendo and everything leading up to the end of it, man, they just do it so well. So I'm all for it.
Speaking of a soundtrack that I listen to a lot, it is Final Fantasy
Yeah.
14 soundtrack. I listen
Okay.
to that a ton. I mean, he's so good. I highly recommend anybody just Spotify Final Fantasy 14. I don't care which expansion you pick, they'll all be there. Just pick a random song and you'll be like, wow, he's phenomenal.
Oh yeah, yeah. And now that they said that you can play the entirety of Final Fantasy 14 by yourself, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, I'm like tempted, but God, so many hours. I don't know.
It's a lot. It's a lot because
Yeah.
at this point it really is like Marvel movie levels of
Right.
you needing to catch up to so much to see what's currently happening. So
Yep.